it means that I have to do everything. It means that my wife is completely paralyzed. I'm gonna have
I can't
new
buy her the ticket
challenges.
and bring her here.
So life here needs orientation. What's happening to the refugees that when they come here, the organizations that sponsor them, they want them to start being self-sufficient as soon as possible. Okay, how can he be as soon as possible self-sufficient? If he passes the language problem, there is still the cultural problem.
And I was saying, I want to come back. I don't want to stay here.
One day when I came, I was with my friend and I saw in the street a piece of wood from a tree. It's cut from the tree and the branches are cut. So it's like this with the base. The branches are all cut, and I looked at it and I said, okay, this is me. I'm cut from my root, my branches are all cut. So I need to now to restart my life, my existence. It's not just my physical life. I need to reestablish my existence. So I don't know.
But I don't have the money to go there, and I'm not sure if
It's
the
4,500,000 Iraqis who are displaced. It makes 1/5 of the Iraqi population.
Jews, she was making them, in the house. So I missed all these things.
If I get back to Iraq now, to Baghdad, I would not find most of them.
I talked to many people about my country, and I discovered that even people, they don't know where is Iraq on the map.
But it's also positive to have the feeling like you have two countries now. I feel like American people also need us.
For me, I think what they really need is a one-to-one orientation, like a family connects or sponsors a family.
Everybody, has different power, and everybody has different capacity, so they can help in different ways.
Portland is calm, cozy, quiet, courteous people. Cozy by not mean the weather.
ما عندك شيء تخسره بعد. That's in Iraqi means you have nothing to lose anymore.
ما حك جلدك مثل ظفرك. In Arabic we have this saying, I don't know what's the equivalent in English, but we say literally, like nothing can scratch your skin more than or better than your nail, your own nail.
I'm 44 now.
Yeah, I'm 38.
I'm 48 years old.
I was born in Baghdad, Iraq.
I was born in Karrada.
I was born in Baghdad, and I was born in the western side of Baghdad.
Baghdad divided into two parts by Tigris River, and we live on the east side. So Karrada is close to the river, very close. It's very old, old neighborhood, and back in the history, there were only Jews. They built their own houses, and it's almost like palaces.
It was my grandfather's house. It was a big house in a kind of classy area, let's say, of Karrada. It's called Arasat al-Hindiya. The Iraqi people, especially the old ones, used to live in extended family settings. And so it was a big house. Was to enjoy my time there. But then
my family, they were against, Saddam and the Ba'ath Party. And my father was arrested, and he disappeared since I was 10. And we didn't know what happened to him.
People were already exhausted of the war with Iran,
I
of
left
the
Iraq
first Gulf
before,
War, and the
when Iraq was that time under economic sanction. And really the situation that was very limited in terms of jobs and to everything. Like food, when they get milk, they go to the patient, tell the hospital they don't,
at least the beginning
provide
of war
the right medication.
became a reality that war is going to take place.
Now, it's very from both
People
sides.
were,
You have to have it.
most of them, afraid. We started saving food.
In fact, I started to work as a translator, interpreter for
It's like independent
the
social worker.
U.S. and
like
Iraqi government.
I'm working as a qualified mental health professional.
I worked as a reporter because I was giving information for we have big gardens in the front and at the back.
I miss
We
my
have
evenings
big
in
tours
the
because Iraqis
Union of
back,
Writers and
you know,
the
in the
whole
olden times, not now. Then we
all
bring,
kind
you know,
of
the
gatherings there,
mattress,
sitting there, discussing
and
about
we try to arrange, you know, place for everybody. And when we were kids, but not after that. Yeah, people, they don't do it anymore.
Baghdad roads and streets and avenues are characterized as being very broad ways, like
Only the
it's like
very
in
poor,
DC.
very poor people
And in the
who
middle
can't
of
even
each
afford,
and
you know,
every
to pay for the
Broadway,
taxi that
there's a
takes
kind
them
of
to Jordan.
either
These
flowers or trees. So I used to see the U.S. tanks and
do something. I
Humvees.
need lights.
And if
Like
you go to
sometimes,
Iraq,
you know,
you
roll
will find
over
like the
that
mother Sunni, the father
flowers and
Shia,
the car.
nobody
you
can
know,
accept
vice
that.
versa.
And
Hasn't
there are
been
bodies,
a problem.
people screaming in the hind back of this car, and I want to see what's going on. And there's this, you know, torchlight. I just didn't do anything.
It's a very harsh situation for any man
I
to
left
see,
Iraq and I went to Jordan.
you know, that
I
to see
went
himself that
Jordan and I was
he's
planning
incapable
to
of
go
doing
to Europe
anything
to
to
join my
help his,
brothers in
you know,
Germany.
his family.
And I stayed in Jordan, I think a week or less.
They refused to come with
And
me
then I went
to the
to,
farm. They said, well, if we're gonna die in our house, so let's die
with
in our
my two
house. We
daughters
cannot
only.
leave it.
I was separated that time from my husband.
And the youngest one left Iraq by the late 90s. So I was alone here.
She told me in a very halting voice and in a very frightened words, you have to come now, right now. I said, hey, what's going on? She said, I can't explain, just come now or you won't find us, we'll be all dead. In 5 minutes, I was at home. I did not realize that I was driving, I think, 150 kilometers an hour, and then in 30 minutes, we put everything in the car, all the already packed suitcases in the car, got my wife and my 2 kids in the car and run to my parents' house. And the same day, according to 3 of my very close neighbors, they called me and said, well, Ahmed, your house was riddled with bullets.
Cluster bomb is when aircraft drops a bomb that actually spreads into multiple bombs all over a large area, so it's considered a mass destructive weapon. It's internationally prohibited, but we were shot with 2 of them.
It was difficult. It was very difficult. You will find maybe 10 families live, you know, different disaster.
I moved to Jordan, and although I was hesitant and reluctant at the very beginning again, but my daughter was only 3 years old at a time, and she used to be very afraid at night.
This family, all the men in the house, the Ba'ath party came and they took, you know, all the men, and they left only, you know, the mother with 9 or 10 daughters.
Later on, we managed to admit them to colleges in Amman, so they came in, but I haven't seen them like for 2 years now.
How can I quit
It
my
was
job
very difficult.
as an
I know many
NBC
families,
producer
their
in Baghdad
fathers, you know,
and
after
go
like
to
1
nowhere,
year or 6 months or 7
go
months,
to a vague
he
future?
went
Don't know
crazy and
what
he
am
just
I gonna
disappeared. He
do?
left the house
Don't know where
because
to
it's
go.
difficult for the father to see his family in this hopeless situation and he cannot do anything. It's
That-
really difficult.
Jordanian authorities would not give me the access to the
No, I don't
Jordanian
think there are any people in the
territories.
world who would accept that, being occupied by another country.
She got shot at by a U.S. soldier while she was going to work. She was